I do believe I am live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Watchman News. Tonight, we dive into the skies over New Jersey, where the phrase Garden State has taken on a new meaning because apparently the gardens are full of drones. Yes, drones. They're circling and zipping and buzzing little busybodies up there in the Morris and Somerset counties. Now let's get this straight. We're not talking about your neighbor's nephew playing with his birthday present from Radio Shack. Gosh, that's an old joke. No, sir. These drones are on a full-blown mission. Residents are reporting clusters of them and possibly a fixed-wing aircraft. Folks, when was the last time you heard fixed-wing aircraft and didn't immediately think Area 51? I mean, come on. Let's break this down. One witness, Ryan Dawson, clearly our go-to guy for this mystery, says he sees these things everywhere every night. That's right, everywhere. According to him, one was the size of his car. Now, Ryan, I need to ask, are we talking about a Prius or a Ford F-150? Because that's a crucial detail here. Then we've got Olivia DiMatteo, owner of Simple Coffee. She says the mystery has brewed up all sorts of theories. Brewed up. Simple Coffee. Well done, Olivia. A marketing genius amidst the chaos. Anyway, her customers have gone full conspiracy mode. Russian spies, alien invasions, and wait for it, people stalking Trump. Because what says covert operation better than clusters of flying glow sticks over Bedminster? Makes total sense. But let's not forget the FAA has stepped in. They've banned drones over Trump National Golf Club and the Picatinny Arsenal. I mean, thank goodness, because if there's one thing the aliens or Russian spies really want, it's 18 holes and a bunker tour. Here's the kicker. The FBI is now involved. That's right, folks. The feds are asking you, the people of New Jersey, for help. Send us your drone videos, they say, and I can't help but wonder how many submissions are just going to be Karen from down the street filming a ceiling fan convinced it's a UFO. Now, the residents say it's unsettling, creepy, suspicious. One guy in town went full Hitchcock, muttering, "It's the birds, but worse." Honestly, though, the scariest part, these drones are darting around with the energy of a toddler on Halloween candy, and no one knows why. What are they watching? Who's controlling them? Are they delivering packages or, heaven forbid, collecting data for Skynet? My money's on this. A rogue tech CEO got bored, loaded up on Red Bull, and decided to play SimCity in real life. Think about it. In clusters of drones, fixed-wing aircraft, it's Bezos on a joyride, isn't it? Elon, or maybe Zuck's running a VR experiment and forgot to tell New Jersey. Anything's possible. So Morris and Somerset County, stay vigilant. Film those drones, but please, for the love that for all that's holy, don't try to shoot them down with a slingshot. Let's leave the investigations to the professionals and the memes to the rest of us. And to the drones, if you're listening, we get it. New Jersey is a vibe. But could you at least leave us a Yelp review before you fly off to your next mysterious escapade? Keep your eyes on the skies and your conspiracy theories in the comments. Stay sharp, stay safe, and stay skeptical. That was compliments of ChatGPT. Twice in a row now. I think it pretty well knocked it out of the park. I am going to definitely have to do this. By the way, compliments of the picture is some dude like across the pond that decided to turn his dead cat into a drone. So, not the same drone, however, that's been seen over New Jersey. I want to make that clear. No dead cats are flying over New Jersey. Well, that we know of. I kind of wonder about Chris Christie, though. Anyway, I'm actually glad I'm here. I didn't know for sure if I was going to be able to make it because I I use Streamlabs is what I use. And I brought it up, and my camera was like so laggy. My camera, the little spinning logo on the bottom right, everything was lagging to hell. And that makes no sense, because this thing's a smooth running computer. So I literally closed all my browser windows, and that was the only thing I had up, and it was still lagging. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I checked Task Manager, and it wasn't overloaded, I wouldn't say, by any means. And so I thought, okay, I'll save all my windows that are open, and then I'll just restart the computer. So I did that, and as it was booting back up, it gave me a CPU overheating warning. And I'm like, ooh, that's not good. So I peeked around the corner, and sure enough, my CPU fan was just sitting still. I'm like, uh-oh. So, took the side off real quick, played with it with my finger for a little while, and got it to spin again. And I guess tomorrow I'm pulling a computer apart and re-lubricating the CPU fan, because that's what I have to do every time this happens. So, it is what it is. I wished it would have blue screened me, though. That bothers me. I really do wish it would have blue screened me. I don't like the idea that it lets it get that hot that it's lagging, and then lets me know when I go to reboot it. Gee, thanks. I don't have the motherboard, of course. It comes with software and stuff that you can run that monitors all that kind of stuff. I never install that stuff. I just don't. A lot of times it contains a lot of crap you don't need, you don't want, and so I don't run it. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well tonight. Been a crazy day from the get-go. Literally woke up to headlines about the South Korea. I was trying to fight from saying North Korea. Woke up with headlines about that, about how what's his name? I can't remember. Suk Yeol. I can't remember the first one though. His name. I've got an article open. He was apparently declaring martial law. Oh yeah, I could. I normally don't run that stuff though. That's what the software program that comes with the card is that's essentially what it does. And yeah, I normally don't run that kind of stuff if I don't need to. The wheels on the bus go round and round. What I mean by that is a computer, every process it does, you're taking away from that main wheel spinning. And so my computer is by no means a monster. And so when I do things like Flight Sim, I have to free up every frickin' resource that I can. Everything I can muster, because this Ryzen 7 2700X and 3060 Ti really struggles with Flight Sim. I mean, like, real bad. That's why I haven't even played it, because it's like flying a slideshow. I don't know what the deal is with it. I think there are issues too with the sim itself. It's not optimized. They've never optimized their program very well. But oh man, oh, the thumbnail. Are you talking about the thumbnail for the show? Well, I was looking for funny drone pictures, and I tried, I kid you not, for like a half an hour with ChatGPT, because man, they usually make me some pretty banger pictures. And so I was working with ChatGPT on the image for tonight's show, and I guess there was a problem with their image tool, because I wasn't asking for anything that it couldn't normally provide me, and it couldn't do it. It just had problems. It wasn't a matter of what I was asking it to do, it just couldn't do it. So I had to go over to Copilot. I tried Copilot, and it was giving me really dumb stuff that didn't even look good. And so then I just searched Google for funny drone pictures and saw the one carrying toilet paper, and I'm like, that's the one. And then, of course, I had Meta AI imagine me as a drone pilot dressed as an alien. So, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff, though, going on. There's some absolutely crazy stuff. The whole South Korea thing, I guess I could get that out of the way. That wasn't what I was going to cover first, but now, from my understanding, the martial law has been lifted because the people just raised hell the moment that the president did that. And in my opinion, rightfully so. And so what they did is Parliament got together, and I think there was like some 190 or something members of Parliament present. They held a vote, and I guess there was enough there to make a vote. They held a vote, and it was unanimous to have the to force them to lift the martial law. Now, the moment that they placed that vote, the military actually, from my understanding, the military left. So that's a good thing. At least the military are listening to the people. I wouldn't bank on the same thing here right now. I'm just saying. But at least the military left and let people do their thing. And like I say, the martial law was canceled, and I don't know where it goes from here. They're talking, by they I'm talking about like Parliament, and from my understanding, even people in this guy's own political party are talking about things like impeachment and stuff like that, because it's pretty unprecedented. And I hate to comment a whole lot on it, and the reason why is because I live here. I don't live there. So for me to really know what's going on, now is there an instance to where something like that may need to happen in order to save a country? No matter how much we would like to say no, because we love our Constitution, there are cases. There are absolutely cases. For example, what if they took it upon themselves that they weren't going to inaugurate Trump? Just as an example. We would hope, hell, I've been hoping for a long time that the Sergeant at Arms would arrest at least some of the administration, including Biden, because of the things that's been done. So, I don't want to really jump and put my weight behind one side or the other side because I'm not there. And I just do think that it sounds pretty crazy. Hey, we've got people, without a doubt, they admit it, in our government that would love to bring communism to our country. There's several of them. But for them to do that, they have to go through that political process. It's not just snapping your fingers and making it so. I'm pretty positive that South Korea has somewhat the same type of system. In fact, from what I've read today, it sounds like their system is very similar to ours. So it's not like these people in Parliament can make these laws unless there's enough of them to make them. If there's enough of them to make them, well then, that's that. Now, I'm not from South Korea. I know little to nothing about it. I don't know if they have a constitution or anything like that. That's what our Constitution protects. There are certain rights that we have, certain things that they can't touch. Theoretically, they're not supposed to be able to touch. So that means, as long as they aren't violating anything in that Constitution, they can make the changes that they would like. If they would like to change the Constitution, well, there's a process for that too, but it's much harder to accomplish. I don't know if South Korea has all of that as well. If it does, if they do have a constitution, and if they are somewhat set up like that, then this president's got to go because he was out of line. Now again, I'm not from there. I'm not down there. And I haven't spoke personally to anyone from there. But kind of what I'm getting the vibe from looking over things, and I've read quite a few articles about it, it sounds to me like the parliament and the people in general in South Korea don't want to go to war. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like, and I already do know, because I pay attention to the news, that South Korea has been distributing leaflets in North Korea. Plus, they've been, of course, been involved in a bunch of military drills with the United States, which pisses North Korea off. And it's like South Korea and the United States are poking the North Korean bear. That's just my observation here. And it sounds to me like the people ain't having it. The people don't want it. They don't want to go to war. They don't want a conflict. Kind of like the people in the United States with Ukraine. Well, let's just say Russia. So, I find it interesting. And I would say it's something to keep an eye on. It may or may not be done with. There, could still be something pop up. I certainly didn't expect that. I certainly did not expect that. We have a sip of tea here, a couple of vapes. Oh, goodness. A heck of a day. It was grocery day today. And so, my back in between my shoulders still is not good to go. And so I pulled the heck out of it dealing with the groceries earlier. And then, to add insult to injury, I decided when did grocery shopping that I wanted to get some of those cheap banquet pot pies, because damn it, those things are so good. I love them. I could live off those damn things. We normally don't, that's not something we normally get, but I thought, hey, that sounds good. And it's easy, so checks a couple of boxes and I'm good with that. However, eating 2 of those and then drinking a Mr. Pibb, which I really don't hardly ever drink soda. I mean, I could count on my hands probably how many times a year I have soda. And I mean, I'm talking a soda. It's just something I used to, whether or not it sounds weird, I was, I guess, addicted to soda. I don't know. That's all I drank. That's all I would drink. And, I mean, literally, that is all I drank for the majority of my life. And so I had to get away from that. That stuff is no good. And when that's all you drink, coffee and tea isn't the best thing in the world, but it's a damn sight better than soda. So I backed off the soda. That's pretty much all I have now is coffee and tea. And I'm not even having coffee this evening. I'm drinking tea because of the stomach issues, but I royally pissed off my stomach with the pot pies and the Mr. Pibb. um, oh goodness. I guess we could talk about this drone thing in a real sense. I've got an article here. Uh-oh. Hang on. I'll have you momentarily. I have an article here. FBI joins hunt for answers behind nightly drone sightings in New Jersey. Now, I'm going to be honest. I actually gave this article to ChatGPT, and it did a pretty damn good job of of covering all the points in it. It really, truly did. So to sit here and read the article to you would be kind of pointless. And you probably heard about this a dozen times today already. But I find it very interesting. And at the same time, there's a part of it that's perplexing. The perplexing part. Whether you know or not, we have plenty of tools to be able to take drones out of the sky. Everything from like a directed energy type of weapon, and I'm not going stupid sci-fi Star Trek on you. It's not like that. It's a jammer, I believe is all it is, but it's like a directional jammer. And so that's one tool that they can use, and they've actually got drones that will actually fly in the air and chase drones and catch those drones. They've got guns with like a net, like a bolo type of net or whatever, that they can fire at them. There are actually quite a few different tools that they have to deal with drones. Now, I understand that some of these are large, even the size of a vehicle. I'm assuming a small vehicle. And there's also devices like DJI has Aeroscope, which is a device that can track, monitor, and I do believe take control. Jam the drone, take control of it. I believe they have that capability. And you could go look that up right for yourself on DJI's website. I believe it's called Aeroscope. And I'm not buying that they can't do anything, that they're just helpless watching them in the sky. Now, there's not a whole lot of drones, at least in the regular commercial market, that are that size. There are, however, some pretty big damn drones out there, and a lot of them are used for like agriculture and stuff like that. They actually have drones. DJI even makes drones that they use to spray crops and stuff with. So some of them get pretty good size. So is that what we're talking about here? They're not UFOs. They're clearly drones. So are we talking about big ag drones? I don't know. I find it interesting. I'm not buying that the government can't get to the bottom of it. So what I would tell the people in those areas to do, you can, for free, put an app on your phone. Because by law, and as long as those are going by law, and if it's a DJI drone, like an ag drone that they're flying, it's going to be doing this. By law, drones over 250 grams now have to put out an ADSB signal that identifies the drone, identifies the pilot, and gives basic data about the drone, like its altitude, its direction of travel, its speed. And it's very similar to systems like airplanes use. And that app that you can put on your tablet or on your phone will track drones that are within range of it. It's not super far. It's not like you open the app up on your phone and you're going to see all the drones that are flying across the... It's not like that. There's an ADS-B signal that the drone puts off that your phone has to be able to pick up. And I do believe it uses Bluetooth to do that. And I think it's the latest Bluetooth or whatever that's got a fairly decent distance on it. If I'm not mistaken, that's how that works. And that's what I would advise the people in those areas. Put one of those apps on their phone. When they see them going over, open the app up and see what it tells you. That's what I would be doing. And if it doesn't tell you nothing, that's an interesting thing too. So, do I think it's Russians? No. Because they ain't that stupid. It's definitely not UFOs. It's not aliens. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the point is of the people that are controlling them. Maybe this is the entire point. Maybe they're doing it for attention. They're doing it for kicks. It's hard to say. Hard to say. Find it interesting, though, that the police can just come out and say that there's no threat to public safety. Well, if they don't know who's flying the drones, how can they say that? Especially when over in Ukraine, you've got them flying drones that are dropping bombs. And some of these drones are commercially bought drones, like regular drones. In fact, they've used plenty of DJI drones to do that. Just regular consumer ones. Kind of crazy, but it's a fact. So, I wouldn't be so quick to say that they wouldn't pose a danger to the public unless I absolutely knew that they weren't causing a danger to the public. But it sounds to me either it's government doing something that they don't want to come out and say, or it's a group of millionaires because those drones are stupid expensive. It's a group of people just trying to get attention. I would say it's one of the two things. Because the government should be able to be all over them. It doesn't make sense that they're not. Doesn't make sense that they're not. So, got another interesting story here. One that some of you may have been following. And I just don't know what to think about it. I really don't. Let me read the article. And then, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Hang on. Nicotine, man. LA County medical examiner reveals cause of death for Ryan Kobayashi, father of missing Hawaii woman. So, you may or may not have been following this or heard about this, but this lady went missing after making a bunch of really strange texts. And I do want to emphasize that this isn't really necessarily the first time that weird things have happened like that with this lady, and that's from what the family says. But the father went to go look for her, and that's where things get really kind of weird. Check this out. Ryan Kobayashi, the father of the woman missing from Hawaii, was found dead in an apparent suicide near LAX last Sunday, according to the Los Angeles Police Department. According to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, Kobayashi's cause of death was multiple blunt force traumatic injuries, Kobayashi was 58, okay? Multiple blunt force traumatic injuries. He had traveled to Los Angeles from Hawaii searching for his daughter, 30-year-old Hannah Kobayashi, after she missed her connecting flight from New York or to New York from LAX. Police confirmed, bringing that up so I could check what notifications I got. Probably nothing. I think it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. Let's see. Sorry about that. Let me continue. He traveled from Los Angeles to Hawaii looking for her because she missed her flight. Police confirmed that Kobayashi died after he jumped off from a parking structure near LAX sometime around 4 a.m. on Sunday. And let me finish up. It says Kobayashi family issued a statement expressing grief and asking the public to focus on the search for Hannah Kobayashi, which is kind of strange. It says any information on her whereabouts should be reported to the LAPD. So, let me get this straight. This guy leaves Hawaii, goes to LA to look for his daughter. And the process of that, decides that he wants to off himself and jumps off of a parking structure. What? Make it make sense. The first question I have is, how do they know that it was a suicide? I mean, normally, if there's a note or something like that, they will mention it. Yeah, there was a note that we found in his rental vehicle or whatever. But nothing. And I've read a few different articles on this, and none of the articles I've read on it have said how that they come to the conclusion this was a suicide. I don't know. It really doesn't make sense. So, I'm certainly going to keep an eye on this story. The police had a press conference. They made some things very, very clear. That Hannah's not in any kind of trouble. She's not wanted for anything. She's not done anything illegal that they're aware of. And I think they suspect that she might be in Mexico. But in all of this, they also kind of made the statement that, they talked about respecting her privacy. Maybe she doesn't want to be found, kind of thing. And my understanding, this is not the first time. But all that together just seems a little bit odd. Really seems a little bit odd. So I don't know. Again, I'm going to kind of keep my eye out on this article. And, oh, sweet. 12 miles. I take it you're back. Oh, you were actually on the treadmill. Sorry, I saw that you were in listening mode, but I missed the second part of what you said earlier. Oh, yeah, brother. I would love to be able to do that. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay. T. This next one's a bit of a doozy. China bans exports to U.S. of gallium, germanium, antimony, in response to chip sanctions. I'm going to read the article. I'm not really familiar with any of those. As China announced today that it is banning exports to the United States of those minerals, it says, and other key high-tech materials with potential military applications as a general principle, lashing back at U.S. limits on semiconductor-related exports. Chinese Commerce Ministry announced the move after Washington expanded its list of Chinese companies subject to export controls on computer chip-making equipment, software, and high-bandwidth memory chips. Such chips are needed for advanced applications like AI. The ratcheting up of trade restrictions comes as President-elect Donald Trump has been threatening to sharply raise tariffs on imports from China and other countries, potentially intensifying simmering tensions over trade and technology. Now, I like how they slipped that in there. I don't necessarily think this is in response to that. I think this is in response to stuff that's already being done to them, like right now. But it is the AP, and if they can blame Trump, they will. Said China's foreign ministry also issued a vehement reproof. And they said China has lodged stern protests with the U.S. for its update of the semiconductor export control measures, sanctions against Chinese companies, and malicious suppression of China's technological process. Lin Jian, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson, said in a routine briefing Tuesday. I want to reiterate that China firmly opposes the U.S. overstretching of the concept of national security, abuse of export control measures, and illegal unilateral sanctions and long-arm jurisdiction against Chinese companies, Lin said. This is one of those long articles. I'm not going to read it all, because I've got a more important point to make on all this. These are, I believe all of those are what they call rare earth minerals, and if I'm incorrect on any of those, my apologies, but I think they're all rare earth minerals. Now, if you think our titty would get in a ringer because they cut off the supply of those, which, indeed, it would put our titty in a ringer, what would happen if they decided to cut off medications? Knowing that most of our medications comes from China. We found that out during COVID. There were shortages across the board, including a bunch of different life-saving medications. They found out real quick just how little we make and just how much we get from them. Do you realize all China would have to do would be cut off all medications, and millions of Americans would die from just that one thing alone? And do you know that our U.S. government, since finding out about this major weakness, has not done a damn thing to fix it? Nothing. Nobody's done nothing. That's insane. That is insane. We need, and when I say we, I mean industry and government, not we as in you and I, need to get their heads out of their asses. Because it's not going to take much. And we're going to be in a bad spot. And I think we might be coming close to that. I don't know how. Well, first off, we got to make it to inauguration. But say that we do, and there's not a nuclear war by then or whatever, alien invasion. Then what? Because Trump is going to put tariffs on their goods. I'm certain of that. And I actually support that because I get it. I understand how it works. I've been calling for tariffs, I kid you not, since I know for a fact high school. My dad watched the news all the time. And so when NAFTA came about and all of that stuff, I was aware of it, even as a kid, because my dad religiously watched the news. And I wasn't like a normal kid. I've never been quote-unquote normal. I've always been a thinker. I've always been somebody that looked into things. I didn't just take everything for face value or for what somebody told me about it. There's a video I watched earlier today. Really good video. And it really hits the nail on the head about folks like me. And I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this or not. I'm going to go ahead and play it. It's not super long. I'm waiting to see if it says, oh, it's 9 minutes. So give me 9 minutes if you won't mind. And this is going to tell you spot on about who I've been my entire life and how I've always worked my entire life. When I say worked, I mean how I function, right? And this video, hang on, let me kill this ad. This video is titled, well, it's from a channel called Hierarchies of Men, is the channel. The video is titled, Why Society Can't Brainwash Sigma Males, The Hidden Truth. And this is very interesting, and I think the reason why it's important to play this is because this is, in my opinion, this is where people need to try to go with their own mindset. This is, again, it hits the nail on the head for my mindset. Again, channels Hierarchies of Men, Why Society Can't Brainwash Sigma Males, The Hidden Truth. And I'm not intending any kind of copyright here. They just did a really bang-up job. So be nice to me, yo.
Have you ever felt like society is constantly trying to fit you into a mold, telling you how to think, how to live, and what success looks like? It's as if everyone around you is part of a system, following the same rules, chasing the same dreams, and falling into the same traps. But then there's the Sigma male, a man who seems to exist outside of this system, untouched and unmoved by the pressures that shape everyone else. What makes him different? Why can't society influence him the way it does the masses? Is it possible that he holds a secret that others simply don't understand? In a world designed to keep people in line, the Sigma male doesn't just resist, he thrives. His independence, self-reliance, and relentless pursuit of his own truth make him unbreakable. And while most are easily swayed by societal norms, trends, and expectations, the Sigma male walks his own path, free from manipulation. But why is that? What is it about Sigma males that makes them so hard to control? Today, we're discovering the psychology behind the Sigma mindset and revealing why society simply can't brainwash them. 1. Independent thinking. Have you ever noticed how most people just go along with the flow, rarely questioning why they do what they do? Society thrives on this, on creating systems that make people conform, follow, and fall in line. But Sigma males, they're wired differently. Their core foundation is built on independent thinking, and that's what makes them nearly impossible to brainwash. From a young age, Sigma males develop a habit of questioning everything. They don't accept things just because they're told to. Whether it's the education system, societal expectations, or popular culture, a Sigma male is always asking, does this make sense for me? Does this align with my values? This constant questioning makes them more immune to the mass influence that shapes most people's thoughts and behaviors. While others are busy following the crowd or buying into trends, Sigma males are busy doing their own research, forming their own opinions, and coming to their own conclusions. They don't just accept the first answer they're given. They dig deeper, challenging the surface-level explanations that society often presents. This kind of independent thinking doesn't just happen overnight. It's something Sigma males cultivate over time, sharpening their mental toolkit and developing a mindset that's both skeptical and self-reliant. It's not that they don't care about what others think. It's that they value their own judgment above anyone else's. Because they're always thinking critically, they're much harder to manipulate or control. Society can't easily sway a Sigma male's beliefs or push them into mindless conformity. Their independence is their armor, and it's one of the key reasons why society's influence simply doesn't stick to them. 2. They don't rely on validation from others. Society thrives on external validation. It's built on the need for likes, follows, and approval from others. The average person constantly seeks reassurance from their peers, the media, and even complete strangers. But Sigma males? They couldn't care less about external validation. Sigma males understand that true confidence doesn't come from the approval of others. It comes from within. This makes them virtually untouchable by societal standards. They don't care about fitting in or being praised by others because they don't seek validation from external sources. Their self-worth is derived from their own values and achievements, not from the opinions of others. When you remove the need for validation, you become incredibly difficult to control. Society's pressures lose their grip. Sigma males are free to pursue their own path, even if that path is unconventional or frowned upon by the masses. 3. They reject herd mentality. In a world where most people follow the crowd without even realizing it, Sigma males stand out as true individualists. Herd mentality, the tendency to conform to the behaviors and beliefs of the masses, is something that Sigma males outright reject. They've seen the traps it sets and understand how easily it can strip people of their autonomy and authenticity. For a Sigma male, following the crowd is not an option. It's a straight path to losing oneself. The thing about herd mentality is that it offers comfort. It tells you that if you just blend in, you'll be accepted and everything will be easier. But Sigma males don't buy into that. They see that being part of the herd means giving up your ability to think critically and act independently. And for a Sigma male, nothing is more important than maintaining that independence. This rejection of herd mentality doesn't make Sigma males antisocial or rebellious just for the sake of it. Instead, it's rooted in their desire to live authentically. They don't make decisions based on what's popular or what will win them approval from others. They chart their own course, guided by their values and their inner compass, not by external validation. While the majority might jump on to the latest trends or follow the latest movements without question, Sigma males step back and ask themselves, does this align with who I am? If the answer is no, they have no problem walking away, even if it means standing alone. This ability to think for themselves and act according to their own beliefs makes them impervious to the pressures that sway most people. 4. They value truth over popular opinion. In a world where popularity often trumps truth, Sigma males remain grounded in their unwavering pursuit of authenticity. Society has a way of pushing narratives that fit the status quo, often sidelining facts in favor of whatever's trending. But Sigma males aren't interested in what's popular. They're laser-focused on what's real. This commitment to truth gives them an edge in a society that's often distracted by hype. Sigma males are keen observers. They take their time to dig beneath the surface, looking for the underlying reality rather than accepting things at face value. This is why they don't get swept up in fads or media manipulation. Their internal compass is set to seek out authenticity, and they aren't afraid to challenge popular beliefs if they don't add up. When a man's life is centered around finding truth rather than fitting in, societal influence has little to no effect on him. He becomes anchored in his own reality, grounded in principles that can't be swayed by mass opinion. This is another reason why Sigma males can't be brainwashed. They value truth over fitting in with the crowd. 5. Emotional detachment. In a world that never stops demanding attention, where the constant buzz of notifications and the chase for likes dominate most people's lives, Sigma males are a rare breed. They don't need the crowd's applause or society's approval to feel whole. Instead, they find strength in something most people fear: solitude. While everyone else is racing to keep up with the latest trend, comparing their lives to the polished highlight reels on social media, the Sigma male steps away from the noise. He doesn't care about putting on a show or living for the validation of others. For him, solitude isn't a void to be filled. It's a space where clarity and purpose thrive. It's where he finds his true self, far from the pressures of fitting into society's expectations. The modern world has conditioned people to fear being alone, to seek constant connection and external approval. But a Sigma male, he's not swayed by those forces. His value doesn't depend on the opinions of others. In fact, his strength comes from being completely comfortable with his own company. He understands that growth happens in those quiet moments of reflection, not when you're distracted by the endless demands for attention. And it's this self-reliance that makes him untouchable. Society can't control someone who doesn't crave its validation. The Sigma male operates on his own terms, not needing to conform to the rules everyone else follows. This independence, this quiet confidence in who he is, shields him from manipulation and makes him impossible to mold. It's what sets him apart from the rest. He is his own man, and that kind of freedom, that's rare. So why can't society brainwash Sigma males? It's simple. They live by their own rules. Their independence, emotional control, and commitment to truth make them immune to the tactics that work on others. Sigma males are wired differently. They value freedom, purpose, and authenticity above all else. And because of that, society has no hold on them. If you found this video enlightening, hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think makes Sigma males so resistant to societal control? And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.
Anyway, I thought that was absolutely incredible. That's awesome you saw it yesterday. It just popped up like in recommended videos, and I seen the title, and I'm like, that's interesting. I want to see what they got to say. And I was absolutely floored with how dead on it accurate it was in describing me. And I've been that way ever since I was a kid. It's something that that's the only way I've ever known. Now, there is one difference I have. I'm not the biggest fan being alone. I like to be in the company of at least one other human being. But at that same time, while I like to be in the presence of another human being, it doesn't mean that I want to necessarily be in constant engagement with that person. In other words, I don't need attention. I don't need attention and the validation and all that other stuff, even from that person. I just don't like being alone. I was the kind of person that if I had to go out and do something on my car or work on the car, I just appreciated somebody that would come out and sit on a upside down bucket or something and just sit there while I was working on the car. And I don't know why. It had nothing to do with seeking approval or anything like that. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So that's the only way different from that. But that's way from what I was saying. So when I was even young and was listening about NAFTA and stuff on the news, and of course my dad would make comments on it, I don't honestly remember a whole lot as far as what my dad's stances were on stuff. I don't remember. I know about the only thing politically I know about my dad is I'm pretty sure he was conservative, and I know damn well that he wanted Perot to get in office. He was very adamant about Perot winning, and that's the only time I ever seen my dad really get behind any kind of a politician enough to leave a mark. I do remember, I don't think Dad was a fan of NAFTA either. And, that's probably how I understood NAFTA a little bit better, because I think my dad was probably raising hell about it. And so, from a young kid, I didn't like the whole North American free trade agreement crap. And I even knew then what it would cause. Well, as I started getting older and working myself, I started seeing companies leaving the United States and going down to Mexico. One of the companies that I worked for here in town, Yeagle Incorporated, they shipped shop down to Mexico. So there's been a number of businesses here that have went to Mexico. So I've seen that. I've watched it happen. I've watched businesses that have been here for as long as I remember, manufacturing and whatnot, close their doors and move out of the country for cheaper labor. I knew that couldn't be good. And at the same time, I remember back when Sam Walton was still alive, and, well, at least the label said made in the USA, even if there's a little bit of tomfoolery going on with some of that stuff. I think a lot of it was made in the USA, a lot more than now. NAFTA to GAFTA. Yeah. So, watching the jobs go out of the country, watching the cheap Chinese products coming in to the country, I knew a long time ago that it was going to be an issue because that's not a sustainable model. I am actually pretty damn shocked at how long it took to grind this country down the way that it has. I mean, we have truly become largely a service industry nation. But even at that, that's not enough employment. And even with our huge medical in the United States and ginormous government in the United States, it's still shocking that we've been able to even hang on as much as we have. Oh wow, yeah. See, I don't think I've ever checked out the John Birch Society. To be honest, I don't think I ever have. I wasn't a news nut when I was younger, but I paid attention. I was absolutely full blown a science nut and an electronics nut and a music nut. I just used to love to play guitar. There was a time in my life that's about all I wanted to do was play guitar. A long time ago. But at the same time, there was a time ago that nothing would have made me happier than sitting in there in the living room with my little electronics all-in-one experiment kit and making different circuits and stuff. I'm weird. I'm weird. And I know that. But at the same time, that weirdness has brought me a lot of benefit. A lot of benefit. I started to make a video, and then I didn't finish making the video. I need to, I guess, finish making the video. I gotta wait until it warms up enough that I can unplug the heater long enough to do it. But I've got a heater down there, roughly about a $50 heater. When we bought it, you'd probably pay about $60 for it now. And the thing quit working. And we certainly can't afford to go out and buy another heater. So I pulled it apart, and it has two breakers in it that work off of temperature. One of them's an auto reset, the top one, the bottom one's a manual reset. And it's got a button you got to push in to turn it back on. So I pulled it apart, I pushed that in, put it back together, plugged it in, let it run. Didn't take very long, and it quit working again. Okay, I tried that one more time and had the same result. Quit working after a short time. So I pulled it apart again, and this time I pulled that temperature sensor off of the body of the heater so it wouldn't be able to pick up enough heat to kick off. And I tried it again, and even quicker it quit working. Well, that was a good indicator to me that it was a bad temperature switch, circuit breaker, whatever you want to call it. And it's a high temp cutoff is what it is. And so I cleaned off the thermal paste that's on it and got the numbers from it. Found them on Amazon. I think it was $6 and some odd cents for 2 of them. Had them shipped here. Put it in. And, the camera's not down far enough. I know it was last night. Last night's video, you could see the little lights on in the camera. It's working fine. Haven't had an issue with it after I replaced that. So, my interest in electronics as a child has led me to be able to repair things like that, and instead of replacing it for $60, I could repair it for $6 and have an extra spare unit laying around if any one of the other, we've got a total of 3 of these heaters, so if one of the other 2 do the same thing, I've already got the part for it. So, that's awesome. I feel for people that can't do that stuff. I believe, I don't know for a fact, but I believe one of our neighbors had a dead battery in their vehicle. Okay? They had a tow truck, a rollback, pull up, and they got the vehicle started. I'm sure they just used a jumper box. And I don't know why. I guess they want the battery replaced or something. I have no idea. They had the people take the vehicle. I'm pretty sure all they probably want done is a new battery in it. So to put a battery in a car, in a vehicle, SUV, they are not only paying for somebody else to do it, but they're paying for a tow truck trip to the shop. That's going to be a pretty damn good chunk of money there. When he could have went to the Walmarts and bought himself another battery and put it in and been done with it, if he knew how. I don't get it. I could not live like that. And I'm not judging or anything. I'm just saying I couldn't live like that. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I couldn't do a simple task like that. Changing a battery in a car. And again, it's not, I don't know what the guy does for a living. I have no idea. I've talked to them one time. They had, I think, just moved in, and he was mowing the grass, and got stung by a bunch of bees. And I didn't know what was wrong. I just seen him kind of in distress and went to the ground. Well, I literally grabbed my medical bag and took off running. Now, I don't have an EpiPen or anything like that. Wished I did. They came out with a new one, by the way. They came out with a nasal spray instead of the just the needle. So that was just recent in the news that there is now a new form of the same drug. Instead of the EpiPen where you have to jab yourself, this is just some type of a nasal thing. I would imagine similar to like the Narcan nasal thing. And supposedly that's good. Well, I didn't have any of that, but I figured, well, I didn't even know for sure what was going on. At that time, I had no idea that he got stung. And I got over there and, asked if he was okay and stuff. His wife was out there by that time. And he was fine. He explained that he got stung by some bees. And I asked him, are you allergic? And he said, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. But that's the only time I've ever spoke to them. So, he just doesn't seem to be like a very handy kind of person. And you don't ever see them without their phone in their hand looking at it. Ever. So that's the extent that I know about them. But I wouldn't be able to go to sleep at night if I couldn't even change the battery in a vehicle. I couldn't. That would eat me up. I have to be, and maybe this is part of that whole Sigma male thing, but I have to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. I have to be. I want to do as much possibly for myself that I can. You know, at this point, well, I quit making the dog treats because she just eats she eats cinnamon. Cinnamon bread is crack to her. And it's even easier for me to make a batch of cinnamon bread in the bread machine than what it is to make her treats. So it's a win-win. And she just, when she goes out and comes back in, she only gets just a little hunk. It's not like we give her a bunch of bread because that would kind of mess her up. So she just gets just a little bit. But she thinks it's crack. But before that, I was making her own treats. I make all of her dog food. I make her own laundry detergent. I mean, if I can make it, I do. Most of our foods, I can't sit here and tell you they're from scratch, but they're not from boxes either. Chili, I do use ragu sauce. I don't make my own sauce, but I make, did I say chili? I meant spaghetti. I make spaghetti. I do buy ragu sauce, but, and I don't go nuts. I don't put all kinds of crazy stuff in it. I just sauce a can of Italian spiced diced tomatoes and noodles. But chili, yeah, I use, Brooks chili beans. But we don't just buy like the canned chili ready to eat. We don't buy like any types of spaghetti ready to eat or anything like that. I don't necessarily make it from scratch, but we don't eat any type of box type of meals at all. The most processed you will get would be the chili beans and the spaghetti sauce. That would be the most processed foods we normally have in our diet. Now a lot of that's for cost because we have to eat as cheaply as we can. But it's also because neither one of us want a bunch of crap. We don't want to eat a bunch of crap. We're mindful of that. I mean, I spent the majority of my life tearing the hell out of my body. Maybe I should spend the last little bit of it in regret for doing that and not tearing it up so much. So that's where I'm at now. I have not been kind to my body. Not in any way. Oh, man. Anyway, I don't have any other news. I don't know of anything else crazy going on. Don't see any notifications popping up. I reckon that ought to do it. Is this Wednesday or Tuesday or Tuesday? So we got 2 nights left in the week. Okay, no big deal. Hopefully something that I can make funny. Well, not me. Let me clarify that. Hopefully something that ChatGPT can make funny will happen in the news throughout tomorrow so that I can come up with another monologue like that. 2 for 2. I think I got to give it 2 for 2. It's done a good job twice now. The Hunter Biden one, oh gosh, that was good. But even tonight's was good. So I may have to start doing that. And I wish I could make sure that I got it done early enough that I could actually put nice video content to it, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. Today, I had a ton of news from Jump. Yesterday, I didn't have much of nothing. It's not that nothing happened yesterday. I try to hit highlights or interesting things or something like that. So, anywho, I am going to get off of here. And God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. I appreciate everybody coming. Hope you have a good evening. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Shalom.